G'day everybody, and welcome back to Speed Build Someday here on the Wilder side. I'm Alara Wilder, and today I thought we would do something from the latest pack. Now, I'm sure all of you have heard of the Tiny Living pack, and you know some of the amazing um, advantages that you get if you live on a tiny lot. So there's three sizes. There's tiny, small, tiny, and micro. So today I thought I would go for the micro home, which only lets you use 32 tiles. Now, how can you make a home for a family of 4 with only 32 tiles? Well, I'm about to show you. As you could see, the game can be cheated. And if you draw those walls elsewhere and move them to make the shapes, you can see it doesn't exactly enclose. You can see those boxes on either side, fully enclosed, but the game doesn't see them as enclosed. So provided you don't draw a full box, it won't recognize them. The same goes for fencing. Acts the same as long as you draw it and move it, you know, like you have an open room, or you move the fence pieces into place later. It will not affect, once you've got a roof on, the weather does not affect them on the inside. What does affect them, however, is the lighting. And when we get to the inside, you will see that I extended that little central area by another couple of tiles, and you will see that the lighting is different on the floors. But it's barely noticeable in game. And I think for the price of the benefits that you get from living in the micro home, it way outweighs that odd little bit of lighting. So let me tell you about our family. We have Annie. Well, let me tell you about Annie. Annie was the high school prom queen and head of the cheerleading or the cheerleaders. She was the all-round good girl, but nice girl, totally in love with the quarterback, age-old story, and got pregnant. And not only did her quarterback run out on her, but her parents basically said, you have to do this on your own. So, so she moved out of home with the twins, Jason and Jasmine. And they are really good little kids. Her family didn't abandon her, Annie's family didn't abandon her, but they said, you know, you want to be an adult, you have to, you know, be an adult and take care of your family, which is fine. Now, a little later down the track, when Jason and Jasmine were toddlers, she went on a family holiday with her parents to Sulani. Her parents reasonably well off, and they stayed at a resort, and she totally fell for the handsome waveboard instructor. And as a result, a few months after coming home from the Sulani holiday, Drew was born. And Drew is a funny, cheeky, cute little kid. And if you are interested in playing with the family, they are available on the gallery to download if you're interested. And I will leave the link along with the download link for the house in the down there. And I apologize if you guys can hear that clock. I cannot seem to manage a any video without the jolly clock going off. Okay, so here you can see we are just getting the basics of the outside. I'm trying to stay true, or at least what I tried to do was stay true to a tiny home. So even though we've cheated a little bit to take advantage of the 32 squares or the 32 tiles and the micro home, um, I've still tried to stay true to the feeling of a very, very tiny house. So Annie has her a little garden out there, plus there is a little back porch or a back deck area where the kids can play. We put a dollhouse out there at the end, you'll see in the screenshots, and you know, they just do their own thing out there. Now, um, I had this really, really important thing to tell you, but as always, oh no, I remember, and doing the plants reminded me. If you were to take all of this up on foundations, every single tile would count. So that is the reason why this house is down on the ground and has not been raised up on foundations at all. So that's the way to do the cheat. Now you can have stairs, you can do your home split level, where the extra rooms that you add onto the house are on the ground and your tiles that count are up on a foundation. But be aware that only that if you don't want those tiles to count, they cannot be part of that foundation, and they can't be a foundation anywhere else either. So that's just something to keep in mind. You can't cheat it that much. All right, so I'm just working out the front. I really love those glass roofs. So, and that's what we put over Annie's little greenhouse there, and over the back patio to protect them from the rain, which seems to happen in this world all the time. Um, and on the front, just didn't like how it looked. I couldn't make it look how I wanted it to. And you can see, I think I do put these up here, and then I redo the roof just in a different way. I do put the glass roof back on so they do get protection from the rain, because you know that fencing style of over a patio or a deck does not give them protection from the weather. So I do put it back toward the end of the build. So this home ends up being 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and they have a reasonable kitchen, a dining area, and a living area with a television. And it's still that teeny tiny home. You can see there that larger room is the master bedroom, Annie's bedroom, and big enough for the double bed and a little bit of furniture. I move them around, which you'll see in the screenshots. So right now I'm just trying to decide on something that would again stay true to the feeling that this was a young family, a single mum, doing it on her own, but not alone. Do you know what I mean? She's independent. She's taking responsibility for herself and her little family, but she's not, you know, she's not on the bones of her backside or whatever. But she is trying to, you know, do it on a budget. So this little house comes in at under 30,000 simoleons, including I'm not actually sure if when you look at the details whether that includes the purchase of the land or not, but you could absolutely expand on this with more walls that you move into place and still take advantage of that, of all the bonuses that those 32 square micro home gives you. So the most important benefits are that your skills build so much quicker and gardens grow quicker. So for anybody, incidentally, who is doing the 100 Baby Challenge, building your matriarch a micro home and kind of finagling the the 32 tiles, you know, to take advantage of that, and then having something else you know, built onto it, would help with your toddler's learning skills. It would help with your kids learning, doing their homework. It would help with the garden. It would help if you want your matriarch to paint So it's a really, really sound idea um, to, to use a micro home if you have the tiny living expansion pack or game expansion pack it was, or stuff pack. No, one of them. If you have tiny living. Goodness me. So here we are putting the kitchen in, and I'm not sure if I show it in the speed build, but I do put some cabinets overhead. As you can see, I've chosen the cheapest ones and I've chosen the second-hand versions because Annie is a single mother. She wouldn't walk into, unless her parents paid for it, of course, she wouldn't walk into a home being able to afford all of the very best um, appliances and things. So we've gone for um, the cheap or the next level up from the cheap items. It is important if you have a toddler in the house though to have a tub because those little things get stanky and you need to be able to bath them. So that's important as well. So I felt that that was a compromise that we shouldn't make as far as the bathroom. So they needed a tub. And the cheapest way to do it is to have a tub shower combo rather than using the shower and having a tub on its own. It also lets you maximize your space usage, meaning you don't use as much space. And you can see there, it's really well illustrated how the floor tiles, even though they're exactly the same, they look a little different just because of the light issue, because one is considered inside and the other is considered outside, even though there's a roof over the top and the weather does not affect them. I can't say that enough. The weather does not affect any of these rooms. They are considered inside as far as the weather is concerned, but outside as far as the actual area of the house and your tiny living benefits. And I think in the end, the house came up really cute. It's really cozy. The four of them quite happily fit in there. Little Jasmine has her own room, but if Annie was to have any more children and has a little girl, there's certainly room for that. And because Jasmine is in a room on her own, that's where I've put the toy box. Certainly the toddler can get at it if they want. And yeah, I'm just fine tuning now, making the rooms similar, but not identical, but almost the same. You know, like you would if you were doing things on a budget with your young family. So just looking for things to put out here, and I do, as I said, put the dollhouse. And do you know, in thinking about it, I think this house has been uploaded without the glass roof over the deck, so they might get rained on. Look, do you know, the end of this is going to be as a surprise to you as it is to me, which is terrible. Goodness me. So just the final decorating, and it's nice for them to have a little bit of decoration. And I think one thing I missed in the speed build is there is actually a rug on the in the girls' bedroom on the floor, but I don't think I show it in the speed build, but I think you'll see it in the screenshots. And so without spending too much, I've decorated a little bit so that the family has, you know, it finds it a pleasant environment, but hasn't spent too much money on the actual, you know, house itself. So here's our little master bedroom. And you will see I place these little tiny living cabinets here, which are just gorgeous. Not those ones, the little ones. But it does make the other side of the bed inaccessible. So I did actually, when you see the screenshots, I moved them. And you could probably do the same for yourself. I think I can't remember if I uploaded it before I moved them or after. So you guys are going to have to work that out for yourselves. And hey, if you have to move them, well, then you're a little more invested in the build itself. You've done some work. All right, so just making it cute. As I said, they have a television, but they don't have a big, fancy flat screen hanging on the wall with all kinds of things, flat screen TV. They have a television that they can watch. They have a couch that they can sit on. And I have noticed too, in the tiny living houses, I have not seen it anywhere else, but I've seen them sit on the floor to watch the television. And um, I don't know. I've never seen it anywhere else, and I don't know if that's because there's always been enough space to sit on, or whether or not it's actually a function of the tiny living. And you can see here our little family road testing it for themselves. You can see what we did with the kitchen here, and Annie's all tuckered out after showing the house to you. Our little boys' room and our little girls' room, and just from the other direction, even though you already knew it was there, our cute little bathroom. And coming up, we have the floor plan if you want to recreate it. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.